My goodness, the State Department has quietly put out another notice. They are expanding the high-risk transit list. And if you're an expat watching, if you're an American watching that's packing up to leave America behind, if you're a Canadian, if you're somebody from the UK and you see all of the chaos that's happening across the world right now, this video is for you. Because something has definitely shifted in the atmosphere, but it's not being announced at press conferences. Some of these changes aren't even being announced on CNN and Fox News. Over the last several months, the United States Department of State has begun quietly expanding how it categorizes risk, especially when it comes to transit countries, or what they refer to as third world countries. This change matters so much more than most travelers and Americans even realize. It reshapes how mobility works in practice, not in theory, and this is not just something that they have written on paper. In real time, countries like Mexico, Panama, Brazil, Colombia are now suddenly unsafe destinations. What's happening here is more structural than what you're even seeing. And it's even more revealing because countries that were once U.S. allies, U.S. vacation spots, places where you could just go to for the weekend or go see your family that could possibly live in those areas, not anymore. They're now treated as points of friction in global travel systems.
Yeah, think about that. What I did not hear, right? That's something that you have to listen to, what you did not hear. So you're hearing all of these places being unsafe, right? So you got to think about where is safe. I did not hear like, okay, safe. So in my head, it's like, that's the question. Where is a safe place to go, to travel to move to, if that's something that you want to do? Because we are in times of nations rising against nations, wars and rumors of wars. So these things, and let us know in the comments if you heard anything like this, or what is on your news feed, because it's probably something like with, ICE and, causing you to be fearful, causing you to be, confused about what's going on. So I know they push certain things to certain people or to certain parts of the world. So things like this is very important if you are thinking about relocating. You have to keep up with these news headlines, these breaking news. Like State Department is quietly doing this.
Yeah.
So that's something that you really got to take serious. And if you don't, if you're not a person to do this research, you need to.
Yeah.
Or, of course, make sure you like the video, hit that bell notification, because we will continue to bring this news to you, because, we do the research and we want to make sure that wherever we travel is safe.
Absolutely. And like you were saying, safety is paramount. Safety is key in these times. And listen, these transit countries, as they're labeling them, because that's how the State Department and the U.S. government is labeling them, they do not need instability to become a liability to the American quote-unquote superpower that's basically ending its superpower status. This is what we're seeing with World War III. It only needs volume, ambiguity, and strategic importance. Just like Greenland, just like Venezuela, just like Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. There are strategic pathways that prior colonizers used to use and still want to use for neocolonialism. But like we've been saying, these superpowers, these Western powers of Germany, France, America, Belgium, Denmark, they are turning on themselves. Really, they are turning against America, ready to jump America. And the question really is this a fight that they are ready for?
Yeah,
because as much as we know that America's falling, we're also not idiots. America has the strongest military on the face of the earth, advanced technology beyond. They don't understand. If you did not see that video on how they invaded Venezuela, let me just tell you, there were 20 American soldiers. This is public information. They actually filmed this documentary so that you could see it. It's like cartoonized so that you can find it and see it. It's almost like marketing for the U.S. military superpower. And so there's 20 U.S. military soldiers up against hundreds of Venezuelan presidential guards. I just want you to let that sink in. 20 U.S. soldiers against hundreds of U.S. guards. Now, America does not just come with people, it comes with technology. Their helicopter had this type of beam that could immediately make these Venezuelan presidential guards vomit, nosebleed, become confused, get vertigo where they're spinning in their head and their nose is bleeding and they're vomiting up blood. And these 20 American soldiers just walk in and capture Maduro. So, Europe and America together are going to crash each other's economies because America's dependent on Europe, Europe's dependent on America. America economically has a bit of an advantage over Europe. Why? Because the Google that you go on, your Gmail account, your WhatsApp, all these things are American companies. And so the Europeans have really come out to express, we know that if we fight with America, and if we do these trade wars because they're preparing $108 billion worth of tariffs on America, they said they know that their economies will crash, but they're willing to go down. And can we just sit on this and understand that we have never seen times like this, maybe since 1812, in which our ancestors were probably in those wars, those of us who are American. But for us, it's been a long time since 1812. We haven't seen anything like this in recent history.
Yeah, that's something to think about. Like, there's nothing new under the sun. So like my wife was just saying, we have not seen anything like this. That's why I say it was a big shift. You could say 2012 or you could say 2020. This was a big shift of what is happening now. So you really, like, it's not going back to normal. As we always say, this is not something that anyone's seen, anyone really dealt with for a long time. And it's just happening in real time. So you got to prepare now. That's why, we do the things that we do with our mature adult intensive, right? We really go over these things. You have to talk about these things. You got to be truthful about these things.
Yeah.
We just finished up this week on Monday, and the main thing for me and the main thing for the group that we had was the community. They really enjoyed each other's company. They really built relationships just in the 4 weeks. And this is just the beginning. So that's why we say, like, what's happening right now, we definitely need to come together. We definitely need to have these new relationships, because what we know, you might not know, or what you know, we might not know. So this is very important to have around you, is relationships, is connections.
Yeah, something that stuck out about what you said during the cohort, the Mature Adult Intensive Cohort 4 last night, was actually the fact that you sat online to go over how this retiree could get their FBI background check, because they needed that additional accountability, they needed that additional hand on board to say, yes, you want to grab this paperwork, go to this post office, because it can be exhausting and confusing when you're trying to do this all alone as a retiree, as a digital nomad family, as a self-employed entrepreneur. This is why you build teams. This is why we just hired another copywriter into our firm. Like, you need a team to execute on your visions and your plans, whether it's business, your retirement, your digital nomadism, your travels. Teamwork is how you get things accomplished, and that's something that we deeply value. But I wanted to read this to you guys because this is from Threads, and it's an interesting thread that I think you're going to want to listen to. So this thread is from She's a Wolf Cub, and it says, this is a Black American lady. If you thought I was kidding, I want y'all to hear this closely, hit the like button, share this with 50 people, because I want you to assess the actions, because the scripture says By their fruits you shall know them, not by their words, by their news broadcasts, by their fruits. What actions are they taking? She says, if you thought I was kidding when I said the US and Russia are allies and will become part of the next world axis, AXIS, opposing a scrambling to get stronger and by necessity more organized than NATO, I was not kidding. Then she says, because it's an entire thread, and if you're wondering what kind of weapons NATO has against Trump, the answer is one phrase long: U.S. federal bonds. To explain that phrase, allow me to remind you that the U.S. is $39 trillion in debt to none other than NATO countries, okay? Because that NATO civilization and that NATO community, especially with Great Britain and France, those are like the mother and father of America. Let's not forget history. For NATO countries to dump their bonds would put the U.S. in an economic disaster of unprecedented proportion, crashing the dollar, causing the euro to replace it. Wait, that sounds eerily similar to this Substack I just read. That itself, I'm like, that is it. Because if you assess the actions that President Trump is taking, and on the outside, it would seem that Russia and America obviously are at odds. But if you look at the actions of taking over Greenland, trade wars, and this new peace deal that Trump was actually working with Putin on and some Middle Eastern countries, it appears that the US could be going in a different direction, and most certainly Europe is definitely going in a different direction to where they're the ones that could crash the US dollar. And it's happening in real time. And if you think the US dollar is not crashing, I invite you to look at a stock called UVUX, okay? It is a stock, an ETF, that only increases when the dollar goes down. C19, it exploded, it went to a lot, but recently with the AI technology innovation, it has been much lower and dropping. But yesterday, it increased 8% in one day. And I suspect that it's going to continue on this upward trajectory because this particular stock and ETF, it only goes up when the dollar goes down. It only does well when the U.S. economy collapses.
Yeah, that's good information. Listen, guys, listen, please listen. These times that we are in, I'll tell you that the times that we are in, this is very important. I know a lot of people don't like to get involved in the stock market and stuff like that, or it's just something new that you have to learn, because this could change the next generation life, like for real, and also your lives. But you just have to really dig deep and understand that it's a bigger picture. And this is how the wealthy stay wealthy. Like, this is how they keep the people poor. So think about that.
Absolutely. And listen to this. Breaking, the Dow just crashed. This is yesterday. Remember what I told you? 8% for that one ETF stock. But now the Dow just crashed 918 points. Denmark's second pension fund dumped 100 million in US treasuries yesterday, calling America not good credit. The EU is preparing $108 billion in counter tariffs over Greenland. When your allies start selling your debt, you're not the reserve currency, you're the risk. And so the reason that this thumbnail that you saw and clicked on had gold and silver, because today is the day, I'm gonna tell you right now, you want to hold gold and silver. If you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, again, join the Mature Adult Intensive. Go to www.journeywithusmove-to-africa.com/services, because you're out of time if you're not in the market. You're out of time if you're not already in gold and silver. You're out of time if you're quietly like, oh, nothing's happening. The US is the strongest dollar in the world, nothing. It's crashing right before our eyes. And you have a decision that you have to make right now. to decide, am I going to live through this and prosper, or am I going to starve in a famine? It's totally up to you because the information is right in front of you.
Yeah, that's good. I was just talking to somebody the other day about this. Like, we know what's going on. We see gold hitting all-time highs every single day, right? And we know is wars, because what the Denmark just did with 100 million in U.S. Treasury bonds dump, that's war. Like, that's 100% war right there. So, what are you gonna do? You just gonna sit on your hands and just cross your feet? Like, that's a real question. A lot of people just gonna be like, oh, I don't know. No, you can't be stuck right now. You really can't be stuck. So this is why we come on here and really be vulnerable and be organic with you guys, because this is very serious. The things that we push out, the Mature Adult Intensive, the workshops that we do, we give you the information, like the information that you really need to grow.
The strategy you
The
need
strategy,
to grow.
exactly. Like, really, this is very, very important. Because gold, that everybody, you see it everywhere. Everybody say, dang, when gold goes up, that means certain things are gonna go down. Or
Yep.
that means that we are in time of war. Yes,
Yep.
this is happening in real time right now.
Yep.
You gotta get serious. You really do. This is the time. This is the time. So this is why we say, hit that bell notification.
Yeah.
Because we come out with these things to, like, really help you prosper. And it's not time to sit on your hands and cross your feet. It's really time to strategize. Because this year, 2026, January is over. Like, it's already the end of January.
And they still have the government shutdown on top of that.
Exactly. and they say that they're going to print money and fund the government and stuff, but you never know. You really never know. You got to know what's in front of you. You got to really make sure you take that next step that's going to help you and your household. Because what they're doing right now, we see. The Most High is allowing everything to happen for a reason. And that reason is to have America fall.
Yeah.
So
Yesterday,
you
listen.
got to be prepared.
NVIDIA, Netflix, Google's parent company Alphabet, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, Broadcom, which I usually love to hold, but I've been shaving off what we have in Broadcom in exchange for gold and UVXY. Okay? Robinhood and Strategy, Berkshire Hathaway all declined simultaneously. This is coming from Moo. We've been in the market for years. We've been investing for years. There are times in our investing journey when we would hold Japanese bonds, when we would hold Japanese hedge funds.
Yeah.
Dump some of those off. There's times when we held AI technology. Dump some of those off. Our focus now is gold, silver, potentially copper, because those are going to run together. And then this UVXY, because it increases in economic uncertainty. All this other NVIDIA, Netflix, this stuff is going to drop. Because if,
It's
again,
time for it. Yeah.
Denmark was able to crash the Dow with just 100 million in federal bonds being dumped, what the heck do you think is going to happen when the entire EU puts the 108 billion tariff into effect? I'll let you decide. You leave a comment down below. You let me know what you think is going to happen. Because we already know what's going to happen. This is why we are over on this side of the world. This is why we have gold. This is why we don't let our dollar just sit there and rot, because the dollar is rotting from the inside out.
Yeah, the time is now. It's always a cycle that happens. And this cycle right now, this is a little bit different, but you still can take advantage of it. Like, when certain things go down,
You gotta learn
a
quick,
lot of
though.
things go up. So you can take advantage of both sides. This is why, I do the things that I do to help our community to realize this knowledge is out here and it's not that hard, but you just got to be consistent. It's really not. Like, just be consistent and willing to learn, because it's gonna click. It's gonna click, and then you're gonna be like, okay, dang, I wish I knew this sooner.
Yeah.
That's
for sure.
that. Like, once we really start to get it, we was like, dang, I wish we knew this sooner. Like,
Yeah.
and that's just what it is. So,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it for the video.
Yes, we are not financial advisors.
Yeah,
Seek
no.
your own legal advice. If you're looking for literally, hey, I have $5,000, what do you think I should do? That's not the type of services that we provide. This is for education and entertainment purposes only.
Yes, good. So guys,
Shalom, shalom.
shalom.
See you in the next one. And please let us know what you think of all of this down below. Could President Trump secretly be working with Russia?